Thank you for coming back to another Hamza Khan show video. Just gonna adjust that slightly, make sure everything is lined up right. Anyways, thank you for coming back to another Hamza Khan show video. That's the intro. Um, I'm just gonna get right into it because you had there's quite a lot of things that's happened throughout the week. We've had obviously the WrestleMania Sunday. We had um, the Raw after WrestleMania, and then also the Smackdown after WrestleMania. Um, I'm gonna go through the my review of WrestleMania Night 2, the Sunday, and then we'll connect everything afterwards and try and link everything all together. The Obviously it started the show with the correct decision of Oba versus Brock Lesnar. It was a really good match. I enjoyed it throughout. It showed off how good Brock Lesnar was and is, and the domination of Brock Lesnar. But then also um, it kind of built over Femi even further. Brock Lesnar threw everything he had at Obafemi, and it it was strong. It was definitely not weak. It wasn't something that Oba could have shrugged off. He definitely sold the all the physicality, all the moves, which is the right decision to do with someone like Brock Lesnar. And but eventually he takes over, choke slam, fall from grace, boom, Oba wins, and it's definitely the right decision, especially with what happened afterwards. The right decision for Oba. Oba looks super strong. He's already in that main event picture. When you beat Brock Lesnar, he's in that main event picture, and I'm very on the side with Oba Femi for him to win it all this year. Some sort of WWE championship, some sort of World Heavyweight Championship, that's what he should win. There shouldn't be. It shouldn't. I don't want him to win the Intercontinental Championship or something like that, or be distracted with something like the feuds. He should just go from WrestleMania. He beats Brock Lesnar, and then he goes to um, SummerSlam. I think that's probably your best idea, and that's where he wins the championship. It's it's like lighting in a bottle. It's something that momentum is not going to slow down anytime soon. You don't want to risk it with something lesser than, because the fact that you beat Brock Lesnar is kind of equivalent, to like the Undertaker Street, that kind of like big marquee person, especially Brock Lesnar who doesn't lose often. Over for maybe winning that, he definitely, I'm all behind him being pushed to the moon uh, and further. I don't think, because I've heard people, maybe you wait until next year's WrestleMania and that's where you get Oba. He's ready now. There's nothing that kind of makes me believe that he isn't ready now. Everything that you've kind of thrown at Oba Femi, he smashes it out of the park, and I think him as WWE champion this early is the right decision for him, and it makes sense. The bigger news coming off that match is the retirement of Brock Lesnar. I was very, especially when it was happening, I was in my back of my head because of what wrestling is currently. I was expecting um, Gunther to slide in the ring, choke out Brock, but it wasn't the case. Brock Lesnar retires. Fans give him a massive round of applause as they should have. He's definitely, when you talk about someone who there's a lot of people hate and a lot of people love, Brock Lesnar is one of those characters, and a lot of the time it was a lot of hate and a lot of negativity towards Brock Lesnar, but it built a character that kind of you can't replicate, and it was a very good ending to a kind of amazing career for Brock Lesnar, and I don't think it is a ruse or is a fake out where the the favor that Paul Heyman owes Gunther is for the fact that he's gonna get Brock Lesnar out of retirement. It was just number one, everybody knows Brock Lesnar's gonna lose that match. Number two, it ruins an amazing kind of end off to a career that you don't really, with a lot of like negativity towards WWE. A lot of people love. There's lots to love, but there's a lot amount to kind of not like and be negative towards, and wrong decisions being made. And I think with all that taken into place, even though if he had retired, then all the way go for Gunther at SummerSlam. But if because he's retired and he's put down the boots, it was an emotional ending. Everybody was happy. They let Brock go off. In a he put over the next guy on. There's no. I don't see why there is a need for Gunther to again retire someone. It'll just leave a sour taste in someone's mouth, and it'll kind of diminish everybody else he's retired. You retired John Goldberg, AJ Styles. Retiring another person like Brock Lesnar doesn't make sense, and I feel like if your future is gonna be Gunther and um, Oba, having Oba being the person who technically retired Brock Lesnar and beat him at WrestleMania, and then Gunther beating John Cena, you kind of implement their one massive baby face versus one massive heel in the industry, and that's a kind of marquee match that you can build towards in the future. But I really enjoyed the match. Another match that I really enjoyed that kind of hit it out of the ballpark and was expected, especially with who was in the match, was the ladder match. Um, Rey Mysterio looked insane. Rusev looked insane. Javon looked really good. I feel like there was a opportunity missed when he was in the elimination chamber, but they kind of hit the ground running with it and kind of paid off that in this ladder match. JD was good. He was really good. Who else was in that match? Dragon Lee is one of my favorites currently. Um, McAvoy kind of kept on mentioning it, that aggression that Dragon Lee's kind of pointing out there. Ever since he faced Gunther, even though he lost, he's gained so much momentum for myself. I feel like he always puts it out, he smashes it out of the park. He's looking really good. His tag team with AJ Styles, the fact that he does the phenomenal the Styles Clash as a tribute to AJ Styles, he's really good. He's really someone that I'm looking forward to. Hopefully he's able to build maybe a bit more of a, a kind of way of speaking, um, his promos, because you don't really see, I don't feel like you don't see him often doing many promos, but a good push of Dragon Lee I would really enjoy that, and the main guy who won, the main person. Of course, it was Penta. I feel like when first Penta was introduced, I didn't really love Penta. I felt like he was a bit overhyped, in my opinion, at the beginning. When that's how it kind of felt. But he's grown on me over time. His moveset, he's kind of the way he moves, the promos, the level of prestige he brings to the Intercontinental Championship, how much you want to kind of support him, as well as his entrance as well, looking really amazing. Um, I'm really looking forward to what they do further for Penta, especially what you saw on the Raw after WrestleMania. You saw all the kind of people getting involved, with Rusev there, and Dragon Lee, I think, was there as well. You had Javon. I feel like you could go a couple of months with all these, just switching out everybody in that ladder match, just having intercontinental matches with all them, and they'll just be all bang after bang after banger. Um, but really, really, really did enjoy that match. Next match on the card. Who was next on the card? So you had Oberbrock ladder match. You had, who was next? I think it was Trick versus Sammy. Pretty sure it was Trick versus Sammy next, and that was a enjoyable match. It was. I don't really, apart from like the theatrics, I don't really remember it too much, but I'm happy that Trick won, and I am looking forward to see what happens with this heel Sami Zayn, because this heel Sami Zayn seems to be very kind of entertaining, I think, and I'm looking forward to see what goes on from there. But good match. It wasn't anything outstanding, but it was a good match, and I enjoyed it, and that's like the main thing. You had the Demon Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Really enjoyed Dominic's kind of entrance, one of the best entrances of the full show. I feel like the entrances throughout the show was kind of lacking, and he had one of the best entrances of the full show. So really enjoyed that. I feel that effort was put in for him, and in terms of the match itself, I like the idea of what they've done of making it into a street fight. It kind of pushed the envelope a little bit, but I feel like it may have not really been necessary with someone like the Demon, um, because he's kind of meant to be that more aggressive side of Finn Balor, and what you could have told is maybe a bit of a more of a story of Balor fighting Dominic Mysterio, where Dominic's trying his tricks, but the pure aggression, the ruthlessness, the kind of cleverness of Finn Balor, the Demon, was just way levels above Dominic Mysterio, and that kind of pushed. That's the reason why Dominic lost and Finn Balor won. Um, but I guess it's just like a kind of excuse you put a bit of a street fight. One thing I kind of did not like throughout both shows, I do not feel like there was ever a moment where the we got right into the crowd. A lot of the times with like these kind of street fight matches, those sorts of matches where anything goes, you kind of do what you want. You see a lot of like in the crowd, you see a lot of craziness there, and I don't think that was utilized enough, and it was a kind of a missed aspect of the more kind of no rules matches, I would say, and a bit of a missed opportunity. But Finn Balor won, good decision for Finn Balor, and hopefully we can get a bit more of a aggressive push for Balor Club going forwards. Um, you had the co-main event next with Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. I thought of all the women's matches throughout the two shows, that was definitely the best one. It had a lot of time to it, and it also told a good story between two powerhouses. Right decision for Rhea to win. She kind of goes on to Smackdown now and changes everything on there. And now you've got a view of having more heels, because I felt like you had loads of different heels, and then the champion was a heel. So who was the champion going to face other than other heels? And then you kind of put yourself in a not the best kind of situation. So like the fact that Rhea won, enjoy the fact that at least Io Sky was able to get some sort of involvement in the match, and that was kind of a really good thing for me. I feel like Io Sky should have been on the show against Oscar in some sort of avenue. Obviously, we kind of know now why she wasn't. Um, but um, enjoy that match. Really good. Best women's match of the full card, and right decision for Rhea to actually win that match. Next one, you had the actual main event of the full show in Roman Reigns and CM Punk. So with this match, I actually watched this match twice. First time I watched it, and I felt after going through the show, I felt like it was a good match overall. It wasn't anything amazing the first time I watched it. Once I re-watched it again, I saw there was so much to this match that kind of leveled everything up. The entrance from Roman Reigns, the entrance from CM Punk, it gave main event feel, and you understood the full story throughout. These two hate each other. These two don't like each other, and they want to beat each other up. They want what the other has, and they're not afraid to take it. From the beginning, Roman taking a shot at the championship, CM Punk talking back to him. First, when they grapple up, CM Punk making fun of the Roman Reigns, saying you're oily and you're sickly, and those cause kind of was throughout the match. There was so much talking between them. You had a story that was condensed into a match. It was the right amount of time. It wasn't a quick match. It wasn't a match where it was rushed, and even though it was a longer match, everything mattered in that match. If you blinked, you missed something so amazing, so really well done between the two, and I really enjoyed that match. And it's definitely one of the best matches we've seen at WrestleMania in the past couple of years, and of course, you would have kind of expected it with someone like Roman Reigns and someone like CM Punk being in that match. Um, One thing I didn't like that kind of put me off was the steel chair shot from Roman Reigns. Obviously, um, if that happened in any other match, he gets thrown out and Roman Reigns gets disqualified and CM Punk retains. But for some reason in this match, it wasn't. I think on commentary, they did a really a good job of kind of saying it's a main event match. They're gonna push the envelope, but yeah, but you gotta keep consistent. There's other ways of kind of doing it, and it kind of loses the essence of any other match. Where maybe if a person does get disqualified, you kind of think, why did they get disqualified? But in this match they didn't. What was the difference? And it's a lot of times it kind of just gets pushed over and gets excused. So I did not like that. Because you want to keep consistent. You don't want to, especially with it being WrestleMania, ESPN, you got loads of new fans. That might be the first time they're watching wrestling and they might think you're allowed to do that, but then next show you watch and someone else gets disqualified, you're thinking he didn't really do much and he got disqualified, but Roman didn't for some reason. So I did not like that. And you could have easily done something another move, and still got the kind of same result. I believe. Off the back of that, you had Monday Night Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania, which I thought was a good show overall. It wasn't anything crazy. There wasn't many. I feel like, from what I can remember, the only person that who debuted was Ethan Page, and the way that he did debut, I really enjoyed when he was in the ring and his mannerisms, the way he spoke, everything was really good. I feel like he did deserve an entrance, so he should have really been put out on an entrance and kind of given the glamours rather than him just being mentioned, um, coming out backstage. The La Liga so much. I think if we had Javon in the ring, and then that's when you hear his music, it would have got the crowd jumping, and it would have been a bigger moment for Ethan Page, um, debuting on Raw. Um, what I think a lot of people, and I believe a lot of people are talking about, was definitely the ending of Raw with um, with Roman Reigns coming out. Comes out alongside the Usos. They've kind of come to an agreement that we're not rebuilding the bloodline, but it's going to be more sort of a you 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 watch my back and I'll watch your back with blood. That's what we should kind of do. And then here comes Jacob Fatu. I really like this with Jacob. I really enjoyed the match he had at WrestleMania, plus a couple of interviews I've watched of. Um, Jacob Fatu afterwards, it just carries that momentum. It gets you believing in the guy, and he really does deserve that push and that momentum. And him coming face to face with Roman Reigns this early on, saying let's pull it up at Backlash, is really well done, and I think is a right decision for Roman Reigns as the first kind of matchup. How I would kind of think it goes on forwards, I'm not really sure, but I don't know if it is the case where you have. Is this the situation at Backlash where in a shock win Jacob Fatu wins against Roman Reigns, or is it business as usual with Roman kind of retaining? But that is something very interesting to see. I feel like I did not like the fact that um, Jacob Roman basically said to him, "Well, I'll let you know next week. Come back to me next week. Let me think about it." Because that promo that Jacob fired to kind of went back and forth with Roman it was so strong. It was so like, I need it. And when you got someone in front of you saying I need it, it's you can't. There's no more thinking about it. He's already told you what he needs. So it's either you accept that challenge or you don't. And it would have been more impactful for myself if it was kind of done then and there. But with obviously bloodline, whenever it is involved with the bloodline, everything matters and everything's done for a reason. So I can only assume that there's something big gonna happen at the next Raw at um on Monday. Yeah, I feel like there is gonna be something big happening. We had what happened on Smackdown. You had Jacob come out. He's telling he's doing his promo about what happened on Monday, and that the fact that Jacob Fatu is all gas, no breaks with it. And here comes the Usos. I don't really like this kind of Usos vibe. They're not really. They feel like backup dancers, if I'm being honest. And I don't like that for the Usos because I feel like they should be dominating. If their focus is the tag team division, get them focusing on the tag team division and dominating in that, rather than being involved in something that they don't need to really be involved with. But it's kind of double down with what happened with Solo afterwards. Solo comes out, and then we put into the kind of main event of the show with Solo versus Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu wins, and then he also beats the MFTs on his own without the Usos' help. Um, I think that was a really well done thing. Is kind of you bringing back that Jacob Fatu that everybody loved and kind of enjoyed watching. So him not needing the Usos' help, constantly saying to the Usos, "Yeah, I don't need your help," and then backing it up, it builds that character, builds that belief in Jacob Fatu, and I really enjoyed that, and it makes me excited for what's going on going forwards in this kind of feud. One thing I thought of just now was is this the fact that it wasn't confirmed straight away with Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns, because that would be the kind of expectation, especially with someone like the Roman Reigns at OTC. It's just business with him, and obviously this is kind of smashed in with family, but it's normally Roman Reigns doesn't wait. Roman Reigns deals with it now, and could this be a layup for us to find out who attacked Jacob Fatu and knocked his out his teeth? Because I feel like everybody is pretty sure it wasn't um, Drew McIntyre. So if it isn't Drew McIntyre, because Drew McIntyre said that he definitely did it, and there was no reveal, there was no videotape, there was nothing like that. It was just Jacob thinks it's Drew. Drew saying he isn't, but he's still gonna beat up Jacob Fatu anyways because Jacob Fatu has ruined so much opportunities for him. And this could be a way where we don't get to a backlash. It isn't a case where it's going to be bloodline again. Roman goes on ahead and does his own thing, and Jacob Fatu now has to face the person who attacked him really, and we go on from there. You had also on SmackDown, you had what else happened on SmackDown? That kind of the segment between Sami Zayn and um, Trick Williams, Yori, the gingerbread man be behind. I knew it was Sami Zayn, man. He just gave us Sami Zayn vibes, and Sami Zayn is so good in that role, and I really, it was, it made Trick look really good at the beginning, but then it also showed the seriousness of Sami Zayn and the booing of Sami Zayn, and it was it shows that it's not over, and this Sami Zayn is serious about getting his get back, and I like that for Sami Zayn going forwards. Other than that, talking about like debuts, you had Fatal Influence come out. They got involved in the tag team match, and then they also came out and attacked Rhea Ripley. They are very hated for some reason. I didn't expect it. I didn't feel like, obviously, because I watch NXT week to week. You kind of like JC Jane, you like Faith Limbs a little bit because you respect the work that they're doing, but then the fans just didn't kind of uh, yeah, didn't back that, and it was just booze after booze, and that's kind of you when you don't want, if everybody was indifferent and kind of there was no kind of cheer, there was no kind of boo, it would be super underwhelming. But the fact that you've got Rhea Ripley in the ring, and then you've got JC Jane in front of him, there was loud boos and there was loud kind of anger towards JC Jane. And then the match between JC Jane and Rhea Ripley was really well done, and it showed off. Well, you got two characters which are really good promos, but then also can back it up in the ring. It brings good TV, and JC Jane was amazing in that match, and the fact that you got the crowd at the beginning when you came up booing the hell out here to in the middle of match saying this is awesome is really amazing. I'm really interested to see what they do. Hopefully they are able to kind of build fatal influence, and it becomes a staple on SmackDown, and it's not something that is there for a little while and then disappears, because I feel like a lot of the storylines and everything, there is a little bit of kind of, they're off there for a while, then it disappears. You got a little bit, you don't have that much time in the show, but then again, we can remove some stuff and make it more efficient compared to obviously WrestleMania, which was just rest fast mania. It was just too fast. It didn't feel like WrestleMania. If you got your biggest show, you want wrestling, and more than half the show wasn't wrestling, it was disappoint. That can be a disappointment, and especially with how I feel bad for the people who went there, uh, and you're paying so much, and and you feel disappointed afterwards. It's never a good sign, and you don't really ever want that going forwards. One thing I do want to mention at the end is kind of all the people that got released. I'm very sad about a lot of them, because I was really enjoying Kyrie Sane. I was at the beginning I wasn't, and then I was, and then every week, slowly, she's been building up for myself, and I'm really sad that did not get an ending towards the storyline between Oscar, Kyrie, and Io, and that whole build out, that whole kind of build, because Kyrie Cian has been kind of been that workhorse, that kind of person that's done whatever needs to be done, and I don't feel like she got the opportunity to develop further, um, as much as I would have wanted. So I'm very sad about that, and everybody else that got released, and hopefully we can see them again soon, and they're able to be like a staple, rather than, if they're not going to be utilizing the way you want them, it's never really a good feeling. So hopefully they do well in the future. Anyways, that's going to be the end of the video. Last things last, shout out to AAA. AAA is the best show running currently. There's AAA is amazing. Grande Americano, the real one, is amazing. The um, original, he's also amazing. Everything on AAA is just wow. It's just so sick, and the matches are sick. The commentary is sick. The fast pace of the show, the storylines, the kind of the past, the kind of history between it, everything's really good, and the crowd kind of times it by 10. And I really enjoy AAA. It's probably kind of, especially when we're seeing a lot of the NXT talent going up to the main roster, um, it's definitely surpassed NXT for myself, as a show. NXT has been a little bit lacking. It's been alright. It's been carried by the commentary team, but um, you can only kind of, you get what you get. You don't get upset. And but AAA is amazing. Really, really. If you're not watching AAA, I don't know what you're doing. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if it was good. Leave a dislike if it was bad. And peace.